Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
Call me bigoted. That's okay. Call me arrogant. That's fine. But we live in the greatest country in the world, the United States of America. And I say to all the dissenters, either love it or please leave it. Good morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a patriot, a real patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance on this Wednesday. Good morning. And a good morning to you and yours. I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations with a very safe, clean environment, and, of course, you know, the best in tires. Trent's going to be on the air with us in about a half an hour. And, of course, don't forget, too, Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, let's go to the phone line and have a patriot give our pledge. Good morning, you're on the air.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that. All right, now let's go to the weather forecast to start the day off right. Absolutely by K&R Rental with Roger and the crew at 256 South, 600 west of Hayburn. I mean, they've got everything over there, the best of tools and equipment for any task, any construction project, whatever. And for your lawns and your gardens, I mean, they got the rototillers. They've got everything and all the water lines. What are you waiting for? Get a hold of the pros that can help you at K&R Rental. Number to call, Roger and the crew, to find out, you know, you might have questions. What do I need? What do I need? They'll tell you, 678-3122. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Another beautiful day here in the valley as we hit midweek, and we're expecting sunny skies for today. A little bit of a breeze out of the west at about 10 miles an hour. We are expecting a high of 80. Tonight, nice and clear with a low of 52. Winds out of the west-northwest at about 10 miles an hour. For Thursday, sunny skies, high of 88. Mostly clear for Thursday night with a low of 56. And by Friday, sunny skies, about 87, 92 expected for Saturday. That's what's your weather for. Zeb at the Ranch.
Woo, gonna get warm. That's what I like about summer. A little heat, you better believe it. Hey, feel free to contact K&R Rental and find out the information you need on the tools that you've got to have for any kind of a project for both long and short-term rental. Believe me, they can help you at K&R Rental on the Burley-Paul Highway. You can't miss them. Absolutely good folks serving you. 678-3122. Caller, I'll be right there. Stand by. I also want to tell everybody about our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric. Good morning, Ramsey's at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Number to call, number to remember when you need anything for your heating, cooling, or electrical needs, 678-0459. They're open 7:30 to 5 Monday through Friday. And they've been in business for almost 7 decades serving you. They really know, and they've got knowledgeable people, very helpful people at Ramsey Heating and Electric, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, 678-0459. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Jen.
Yes, sir.
Can you feel my smile coming through the phone?
No, there's only one lady that I can say that has that smile coming through the phone, and that's Pat. And you're a close second. You're smiling. I can see your grinners, but I'll tell you what, you're a close second.
Well, the only way I could smile more is if I were richer.
Me too. What can I do for you this morning?
Well, you know, the National Teachers Union is one of the strongest unions in the United States, and they're advocating for the schools not to open in the fall.
That's wrong. That's absolutely wrong. Wrong-headed on their part.
Oh, yeah. But if they do, then the teachers should be paid an astronomical amount of money to risk it.
And that's extortion.
That's what?
That's extortion.
Absolutely. But this teachers union, I've heard over the years, it's just really, really powerful.
Yeah. Okay, here's the bottom line.
They're strictly on the left.
Yeah, here's the bottom line, Keith, and I'm going to be getting into this later on this morning with the governor, etc. I say, and I'm going to emphasize this, open the schools this fall. Open the schools. Now, on this program, I've talked to Dr. James Shank, Cassia County Superintendent, and yes to opening the schools. I have not had anybody from Minico or elsewhere call about the schools, but schools need to reopen. We have to get our kids and our grandkids back in a real learning atmosphere and a people environment. And I am fed up. I'm telling you, Keith, my temper is at an all-time high when I hear these lunatics say, well, we can't do anything until it's safe. Keith, you're 83 years old, okay? Tell me what you can guarantee in life that is 100% safe.
Not a thing.
Okay.
But, you know, by doing what the teachers union want to do is to have our kids uneducated because you can control them.
Well, I'm very concerned after the last quarter of the school year being such a disaster. I felt sorry for the teachers. I felt sorry for the administrators. I felt sorry first and foremost for the students and their families. We have got to get back to school, and that's the bottom line. And this saying that the argument of not going to school until it's safe, that's an empty vessel. It's stupidity because nothing is safe. Nothing. Keith, God bless you for stirring my blood pressure up this morning. Thank you so much.
Well, I'm sure grateful for that.
All right, my friend. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sean, could we please have a good word for the great folks at the Silver State Stampede?
Nevada's oldest rodeo, the Silver State Stampede, roars into the Elko County Fairgrounds July 10, 11, and 12. This PRCA-sanctioned rodeo brings you the thrill of pro riders going head-to-head in one of the world's toughest sports, rodeo. The action kicks off Friday evening with a delicious tri-tip dinner for just $10. Old West bronc riding, mutton busting, PRCA rodeo action, and the always popular Ring of Fear. Dance the night away to the music of the Moonshine Outlaws. And on Saturday, show your support with Tough Enough to Wear paint. Round out the weekend with Family Day Sunday evening. The best family entertainment this side of the Rio Grande. The Silver State Stampede, July 10, 11, and 12 at the Elko County Fairgrounds. The Silver State Stampede will be following all of the Nevada governor's directives, Nevada United Roadmap to Recovery Plan, as well as the CDC guidelines. The safety of everyone is our top priority.
And thank you very much. Sean, over at the station, if you could increase the volume on the feed line just a little teeny bit, I'd sure appreciate that. Thank you, and my headsets. Don't forget Dino Septic Service. Boy, they do fast, fair, friendly service to you and your home. home, and they are doing the job that you don't want to do. Oh, septic tank pumping and liquid waste removal, sewer and sink drain lines clean. They do it all with a smile on their face. Like I said, fast, fair, friendly service. They really take care of you. Number to call, 436-6526 or 678-1638. And they got that big truck that they pulled in the yard the first day, and it says, smells cargo. Well, they're on the way to serve you. From Dino's Septic Service, you get a hold of these good folks today. Calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. May I throw this at you this morning, and somebody out in right field catch it for me if you would? I have a question, and I asked my wife about this morning early. If the National Teachers Union, a very powerful and sometimes very insidious source, say that it has to be safe. Oh, it has to be absolutely safe for our kids to go back to school. Then let me ask this question. What about the no-vax? What about the no-vaccination kids that are allowed into our schools because they don't believe, their parents, their families, don't believe in vaccinations for measles all the way to polio, which is making a resurgence in the world? That's not a safe, sane atmosphere. But it's okay to let them in school and create a not safe atmosphere. But now, because of this coronavirus, which children and anybody under the age of 70, quite frankly, is not going to be that impaired with the coronavirus. Now, I have listened, you have listened to everybody on the news, read stories about it and everything else. Those of us that are over 70, those of us that may have some physical impairments that might also preclude being very, very careful about the coronavirus, that's fine. I understand that. Wear a mask, wash your hands, whatever, social distancing. But the kids, no. They've got to get back to school. They've got to get back to school. What are your thoughts? Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I can't imagine you're not going to make comments on this because it affects everybody. It affects everybody, so please give me a call. Especially parents. I mean, here they are in limbo. Many of which, mom's working, dad's working, and they don't, well, now what are they going to do? Are they going to close schools? Are we going to have to find some place for Johnny and Susie to go? What are we going to do about lunches? Holy cow. Their minds and their lives are being in an upheaval. Kids have got to get back to school. Denny's Restaurant, don't forget, 611 North Overland in Burley, and another location at 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. My. I sit here on the radio every day and talk about them and the delicious meals, menu choices, breakfast, lunch, dinner, anytime, all the time, all the desserts, and really nice people serving you. Thomas and Michelle and the entire operation, they really care. It's the home of Zeb's Lunch Bunch, and we're going to be over there on the 23rd, as a matter of fact. Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner, at 611 North Overland in Burley. You stop in and enjoy a delicious meal today. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Thank you for your time and your call.
Good morning again. You know, you brought up something that really stirs my mind about the polio. I'm old enough to remember what a threat it was to the United States and the world. And Dr. Salk is the one that finally came up with a solution. But there's many people like yourself that had polio and probably still do.
Well, the point is the misinformation and the lack of knowledge about polio and how devastating it was and can be again absolutely astounds me. And for people not to be aware and cognizant of how this disease, polio, can come in and absolutely destroy families, destroy lives forever, and absolutely take over a nation. Polio is absolutely one of the most deadly and most vicious diseases disease ever on the face of the earth. And for people to be lackadaisical and not take their vaccinations against those diseases, they are absolutely, in my opinion, stupid. I'm going to come out and say it.
Well, if you want to test a person's intelligence, you might ask them if they've ever heard of an iron lung.
Yeah, well, don't get me started, Keith, because you're on a personal level here with me.
But by tearing these statues down and everything, we're trying to get rid of history, and they'll rewrite it the way they want to. This is part of history, and it's going to repeat itself if we don't get off our duff and do something about it.
Amen. I really appreciate that. When you start talking about vaccinations or the lack of, you've built a fire under my feet and my boots are coming off. I guarantee it. Hey, have a good day, buddy. I appreciate it. I got another call. Caller, I'll be right there. I want to remind everybody, Mondays at 8:30, we give away a dozen cookies to Sophie's Chatterbox at 530 East Street in Rupert. All you got to do is just answer the trivia question, and you're going to win the cookies. They're delicious. Absolutely. Sophie's Chatterbox, great restaurant, great bakery, serving you. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. You were talking about kids going back to school and the chances of being sick.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking a child has a better chance of surviving going back to school than they do of living on the south side of Chicago.
Oh, your point is so well taken. You know what? I was listening to a doctor last night talking about the depression cases of kids that feel like they're locked up in their homes, and the depression and the suicide rates and the absolute feeling like there's no hope in the world. We got to get these kids out. We've got to get these kids back to school. We've got to get these kids back in extracurricular activities, sports programs. We've got to do this.
Yeah, and I mean, here we don't truly over in Burley, kids are practicing soccer and playing soccer in the field across from the house. But we don't understand what it's like in New York City, where they can't even go to the park, or where you can't step outside of your door without your mask on. It's just,
Amen.
We can think about it, but it's just,
Can you imagine?
Normal, but some places they're not.
You just said something that absolutely needs to be expanded on. In the inner city of Chicago, how do I know how they live is because I've been there. I've looked at it, I've studied it, and I've been in Chicago hundreds, literally, times. And using the inner city of Chicago, and Sean, we got an awful lot of feedback here. If you can help run that down a little bit and ride the gain, I'd really appreciate it. Ma'am, do you have your radio on?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, then it's absolutely, we got to control the feed over there. And New York's the same. New York's the same way. I don't know how these kids get up in the morning in these tenement buildings. I don't know how they sit there all day long and all night and live that way. It's driving them nuts, and it is.
Exactly. That one had one more thought. What was it? Oh, crap. I can't think about it.
Well, call back. Call me back.
I will.
All right. Thank you much. Caller, I appreciate it. Yeah, we've got a little feedback on the line there. I apologize. Caller, I'm going to take your call momentarily. I've got to quickly get this in. Oakley Pioneer Days. Holy cow. Those folks up at Oakley, they're tough. They're resilient. They're going to have a great big Pioneer Days, July 10th through the 18th. They're going to start this weekend with the 12th annual Bump and Rub Car Race. Start your engines and then crash into somebody. I tell you what, it's wild. And along with that, they're going to have gymkhanas on the 16th and rodeos on the 17th and 18th. They're going to have volleyball tournaments. They're going to have all kinds of great food. And, of course, the huge Pioneer Day Parade on the 18th. Don't forget that. Respect the past and embrace the future, the theme of the parade. All of this at Oakley Pioneer Days up in Oakley, July 10th through the 18th. Caller, good morning. Thank you for your patience.
Good morning, Zeb. Well, there's not only the depression, but the alcoholism, the abuse that's going on. And the other thing, of course, is the fact that forcing people in Oregon, Washington, New York, a lot of places to wear a mask. Now, people need to look up and Google the health hazards of wearing a mask. Now, if you're sick, stay home. But wearing a mask, if you're healthy, and especially with the young and the elderly, you're breathing back in carbon dioxide. And so the tests show that your oxygen saturation drops below 90. It should be 93 and above, but if it's below, it'll go into the mid-80s.
Yeah.
And so we're causing a lot of health issues. And the other thing is the hand sanitizer that now they've issued, 6 different companies, I think, Deb, that use methanol. And, of course, it's very toxic. It's not like ethanol. And, of course, ethanol is the main ingredient in all kinds of commercial alcohol that you drink, and or at least some people drink. But it's this whole thing of keeping these kids locked up. But when you hear the National Education Association, the Teacher Federation, oh, we've got it. We can't let these kids get back in their classrooms again. This is just totally ludicrous. It's against everything that we know about. We're social people. We need to be together.
Absolutely.
And these kids need to have that interaction in sports and their school and their classmates.
They're missing, Adrian, wait a minute. I'm running out of time because I've got a guest coming on at 8:30, but I want to reiterate what you just said. Kids have got to be kids. Kids have got to enjoy that part of their life. Kids have got to be involved in extracurricular activities. Kids have got to be ready to play football, soccer, run cross country, whatever it is. That's a major part of their education and growing up to be responsible adults. And I'm sick and tired of hearing these people on behalf of the NEA and others, the union, etc., saying basically we got to lock them up and put them in a basement. This is silly and asinine.
Well, not only that, but I can tell you one thing, that the NFL decides to take a knee at the national anthem after playing the Black Panther Party, or should the Black Lives Matter, their anthem. That's the end of the football.
It is, and it should be.
I'm done.
It is, and it should be, Adrian. I could not agree with you more. God bless you for your call. I've got to run. Thank you so much. I'm running late.
Have a good day.
Thank you. Caller, real fast. I'm going to take your call, and then I've got a caller that's calling in on a specific time. Real quick. Go ahead.
Okay, I remember what it was.
Oh.
Your time to go, the good Lord's going to take you. Because I lost a grandma, got hit by a train for no reason, a brother who was murdered for no reason, and Aunt had a bridge collapse on her for no reason.
Oh,
and sometime I'll tell you the stories.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, you know what? I really believe in what you just said. When it is your time to be called upstairs, then it's our time. God is in control, not us. Thank you so much. Thank you. God bless you. There's a good friend of mine that I want to highlight this morning and feature on my program because they are my major sponsor. And I asked Trent at Les Schwab Tires on Overland and Burley to come on the air this morning. Trent, are you there? Maybe Sean's still getting him. I'll check. Pardon me?
I'm trying to get him right now.
Okay, thank you. We're going to have him on the air. While I'm waiting to see if he's going to be available, we checked yesterday. I want to remind everybody about Barry Equipment and Rental, sales, service, and parts, and they've got all the equipment you need for the lifting and the digging and the pushing and the carrying, whatever. They've got all the bobcats, all shapes and sizes, all the trenchers, the scissor lifts. They've got the Doosan wheel loaders and the excavators. I mean, they're going to provide you with the equipment to get the job done. They've got super financing programs and great lease rates. I suggest you get into 159 West Highway 30 in Burley or 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls and the Napa location. Don't forget the best of equipment from Barry Equipment and Rental, sales, service, and parts. Let's check over with Sean and see if we've got Trent on the line.
Still working on it.
Okay, well, you might tell the girl there that it's a radio interview, and he should be there. We've got a lot of things coming up. In just a few minutes, I want to talk about something that has really bugged me for the last couple of weeks, And it's everybody saying from the black community, well, there's no hope, there's no proof that there's going to be a better future, etc. Wait a minute. We're going to go into some of the multi-millionaires that happen to be black that are talking to younger audiences and then trying to provoke them into thinking there's no hope. It's ridiculous. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. Right now, a dear friend from our Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, and that's Trent on Overland and Burley. Good morning, Trent. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. How are you? And I'm doing great.
Well, good. You deserve it. It's been a rough spring for everyone. Now things are open as they should be. I'm just going to bluntly say this virus is not going to go away. We have to live our lives. And you, on behalf of all 7 of the Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, are providing a very safe, clean environment and the best in tires and everything else. It's time to get back to work.
Yes, Deb, you're right. It's time to have some fun, and we're totally committed to keeping our customers and our employees safe, following all the guidelines. We're all masked up here and just having a good time.
What do you get there early in the morning with all your employees and then guess who's behind the mask?
Right. Yeah, we've been called the mask bandits and everything, but it is what it is right now, and we're just trying to keep everybody safe, with their cars and with their health.
Absolutely. Trent, one of the things I wanted to mention this morning is we're right smack dab in the middle of summer. We're right smack dab in the middle of haying season. They're going to be cutting the grain here pretty quick and everything else. You do a great on-the-farm and on-the-dairy service from Les Schwab, don't you?
Absolutely. Yeah, we already have, we just sent 3 trucks out as of this morning right now going already. So, yeah, it's just the calm before the storm, isn't it, Zeb? But we're ready to, whether it's a cam trailer or your lawnmower or that big tractor or loader, we're ready to take care of you.
Now, do they have a certain route that they follow every day, or is it kind of a will call basis? I've got a problem, please come to my ranch, dairy, or whatever. How do you handle that?
Absolutely, yeah. We do run some routes, and weekly and daily. And if not, it always, we can always take care of you 24/7.
Okay, now what about tires for this time of the year? The roads are hot, and we're looking at temperatures this weekend getting up into the 90s. What about all of you folks at Les Schwab Tires have been to the College of Tireology? You know all the best tread designs and everything, don't you?
Oh, yeah, we do, and we would love to help you out if you want to swing by and just let us inspect your tires. If you have any questions, any one of our locations would be glad to help you and answer any questions that you may have, or give you some advice on the age of the tires, or any cracking, or just doing a lot of summer travel. Like you said, it's going to get hotter and harder.
Okay, now, one thing I want to mention, too, is that you offer, on behalf of all the Les Schwab Tire Centers, a free pre-trip safety check. Quickly tell us what that is.
What a great option that is for our customers, Zeb. That's we check your brakes, we check the suspension, check your battery, we check the overall condition of your tires, the air pressure. We just want to make sure that everybody's safe and out on the road, and give you any recommendations that may happen.
And what about the best tire value promise that you offer to your customers?
That's what I think is the gravy of our company, and it's our backbone. You don't pay for it. But any tires that you buy from Les Schwab, it's included for no extra charge. And I want to reiterate, free with the tires that you purchase, but free flat repairs, free rotations, free rebalancing, and free pre-trip safety checks. And that's good at over 450 locations throughout the West.
Absolutely. 7 great locations, Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, Trent on Overland and Burley. God bless you, man. Thank you for taking the time to come on the program. Short and sweet, but we got the message out, man.
Hey, we appreciate it, Zeb. And everybody have fun this summer. Let's get after it.
All right. Thanks, Trent. Appreciate it a lot. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. Good guy. Absolutely, they all are at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Thank you very much. Calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I did a little research on this. Did you ever really watch and listen to all the, and I'm going to call it like it is on this program. If somebody wants to get touchy and all itchy over the verbiage about, oh, you're talking about the blacks. Yes, I am. I'm sorry. Not really, but I'm going to be honest about this problem. Did you ever really watch and listen to wealthy, professional black people get on a soapbox, and then they go and tell other blacks America is bad and America there is no hope, but yet at the same time, these individuals have made it big time, money-wise, in America. Start off with Al Sharpton. And I'm going to give you a little list that just quickly off the top of my head this morning, I made a list of about, pretty close to 20 names. Think about this. Barack Obama, first black president. Susan Rice. Eric Holder, Attorney General. Great actor, Sidney Poitier. Another phenomenal actor, Morgan Freeman, now on a pedestal criticizing America. Bill Cosby, you know the story of Bill, multi-millionaire, wasted and threw his life away because of his sinful nature. Oprah Winfrey, LeBron James. Here's a guy that went out of high school into the pros, multi-millionaire, and now condemning America. Michael Jordan, Martin Luther King Jr., Muhammad Ali, Juan Williams, Colin Kaepernick, a bushy-headed University of Nevada at Reno football player that went into the pros, had a lot of physical talent, made a lot of money, and now condemnation of America, especially his latest quote saying, well, the 4th of July Independence Day is for white supremacy. And then, of course, a man that I have a lot of respect for, Dr. Ben Carson, took himself out of the ghetto and with hard work, perseverance, education, and absolutely crafting his talents, became one of the finest surgeons in America. That's just a few. That's just a few. So how do they stand up in front of groups, television, or go on radio interviews and have the absolute stupidity, not all of these that I mentioned, but many, to condemn America? Help me on that. Call me, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I just am absolutely lost as to why there is such a hatred of America today. I can't understand it. When it has the most opportunity, if you will get up off your fat, lazy butt and go to work. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
I would be willing to bet that every name you mentioned, if they had not lived in America or their family had not made it to America, however they did, would not have the lives they have today.
Absolutely. And by the way, let me insert there, caller. That list was just off the top of my head. I'm sure that you and many others could come up with uncountable numbers of names of the black Negroid race that absolutely have benefited by living here in America.
My biggest issue with every one of them is still this, that instead of trying to change America to suit your needs, why don't you go to the country that has your needs already? But I don't really believe that exists.
No. I mean, I'm looking at our society elected Barack Obama as president. Then with his administration, they had Susan Rice, Eric Holder, and then we're looking at others in the entertainment business and the sports world, etc., that have absolutely applied their talents and their gifted, God-gifted abilities and have propelled themselves to be absolutely some of the wealthiest people in the world. Look at Michael Jordan, for heaven's sakes. I mean, there's a case in point where every time you think of the Air Jordans and the logo, you see Michael Jordan, and I mean, that's going to be forever. And can people say there's no opportunity?
Only because the Black Lives Matter group doesn't want there to be.
That's exactly the point. You know, that right there is the point. They want to keep stirring the pot, keep stirring up negativity, keep stirring up hopelessness, and that is absolutely infectious. If they would spend even a 25% of the time preaching and teaching about positiveness in this country, holy moly, what a great country this could be.
Well, it still is the greatest country on the earth, and I'm glad that I live here, and I hope everybody else that don't think that it is would pack their bags and move somewhere else.
Please, and I know you, and I know you feel the same way. I will start passing the tin cup today to buy the plane fare on a one-way ticket.
You and I both, and just another note on that COVID thing, I was surprised I never checked the facts, but I believe that the person that made the statement probably did, and they said that they're investigated, and when the Spanish flu hit in the early 1900s, killed nearly 2 million people in America, of the population of America at that time was way smaller than it is today.
Yeah, that's right.
And yet the president in office at the time, Roosevelt, never once mentioned Spanish flu in any of his addresses to the nation.
Yes. I will say...
They never closed down schools, they never closed down sporting events, they never closed down any of this. This is just a big hoo-ha bunch of crap.
Well, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm getting very bitter about this situation, and I'm not at all opposed to going toe-to-toe with anybody on this, and I appreciate your call. As always, thank you for taking the time to dial in. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I just get so upset when these nincompoops, and I'm trying to use the best language I can, and I might slip here in a few minutes, say that there's no opportunity. Oh, no. And you white people all had privilege. I had polio. I make no bones about it. I had polio. And since then, I've had quite a few different physical wrecks, quite frankly. But this country afforded me the opportunity to not sit there and whine and pine, but to get up and go to work and do the best I could at a career that I chose that I could be successful. And I am so absolutely sick and tired of these whiners and these piners saying, oh, well, you had white privilege, you had a silver spoon. I didn't have a damn thing. I earned everything I have. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning again. You know, talking about our local school board, the Casey County School, you know, there's two men on that board, Darren Moon and Bruce Thompson, that are so good at what they're doing. It's just amazing. But where are the other members of the school board who I don't even know who they are, because I guess they're hiding out, because this is a tough job and people criticize them all the time. But my gosh, as long as we got people like those two guys there, I think we're going to be safe.
Well, I think we've got a lot of great people in education, and I get more than upset, as you've known from programs in the past, and I don't care who's offended by this. I really stand up for our teachers and our administrators, and I'm getting sick and tired of everybody saying, well, you rank bottom of the pile in this, and you rank bottom in the pile in that. No, throwing money at situations doesn't create a better learning atmosphere to the point where just a dollar bill is going to make Johnny smarter. No, it's not just that alone.
Well, we have a lot of problems here, even in Cassia County. I remember years ago, I sponsored giveawaying a car to the school, but not for the smartest kids there, not the 4.0 students, but the ones who excelled.
Yeah.
You know, the attendance and everything like that. And I was proud to do it, but I couldn't get any of the other dealers to participate.
Well, I'm just going to say, I don't care if you're black, I don't care if you're Hispanic, I don't care if you're Asian, I don't care if you're Caucasian, I don't care who you are. There's opportunity available if you put forth the talent that God gave you. Keith, I got to run. I got another call before the weather. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Caller, quickly, I'll take your call before I do the weather forecast.
Well, I know tons of Hispanic business people. I do business with them. And they're successful because they're hardworking and ethical.
Yep.
Honest. It has nothing to do with what color they are. You know, you could claim you're down. I just don't think that there's any excuse for it. If you want to bust out, you can. I've seen white people who were powerful and, you know, had wealth, who lost everything. And some days, the things that some of these men do out here in this valley, they risk everything. And right now, dairymen and farmers are and ranchers.
Yes.
It's not an easy situation, and nobody, you know, they talk about helping them, but nobody's going to bail them out.
That's right.
And I've seen bankruptcies out here, and nobody bailed them out, and I've seen these men fight back and work their way back in. In 2003, I was bankrupt. I never filed, and I have worked my tail off to get back where I am. They don't care what you drive, but they don't care what color your skin is. All they care is if you're capable, and you're honest and you're fair.
And diligent in your perseverance to be successful. All of those things come into the play, not the color of your skin. Randy, thank you for your call. I got to get that weather on. Thank you so much. Weather forecast brought us today by Mount Harrison. I had a look. I forgot where I was. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, absolutely located right behind the Minidoka Hospital, across from the emergency room, easy to find, and oh, do they do a great job for your hearing health. Don't let it diminish. Don't keep saying, pardon me, I didn't hear what you said. No. Call them for a hearing screening today. 312-0957. 312-0957. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Please, they are the best. And right now, here's Gino with the weather.
Another beautiful day here in the valley as we hit midweek, and we're expecting sunny skies for today. A little bit of a breeze out of the west at about 10 miles an hour. We are expecting a high of 80. Tonight, nice and clear with a low of 52. Winds out of the west-northwest at about 10 miles an hour. For Thursday, sunny skies, high of 88. Mostly clear for Thursday night with a low of 56. And by Friday, sunny skies, about 87, 92 expected for Saturday. That's what's the weather for Seventh Ranch.
Are we being hacked again, Sean? What's going on over there with the music override? Pardon?
Yes.
Who is responsible for that? And we will hire Albert, the one-armed hitman, to go take care of it. That's ridiculous. Thank you very much. Weather forecast brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Believe me, they are the best, providing expert diagnostic testing combined with the best technology for you and your hearing health. I apologize for whoever's trying to hack in on the computer. Leave things alone. Go away. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, thank you for sponsoring our weather. Not in the mood to have people do that on my program. And if we find out, we're coming after you. Calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give us a call on the landline. Love to hear from you. The squad back in Washington, D.C., with Presley and Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib. Oh, disgusting people that are in our United States Congress. They are being interviewed now on behalf of the Democratic Party about the transformation of America. And Ilhan Omar, a woman that absolutely just makes my skin crawl, was interviewed, and she says, now is the time. Now is the time to transform America away from people profiting so that all the money and everything we can all share equally. What? What it is, basically, bottom line, is to get away from capitalism, go to socialism, so that the powers that be have complete control over everybody, everything. Here are 3 women of that squad that have benefited not only financially but also personally for their lifestyles to come to America, and they were voted into our Congress, and now they want to destroy the United States and its value system. They hate us. They absolutely hate America. And they're promoting, with the evil Democratic Party, an act called the Breathe Act. You know what it is? Basically, I read some of it, and I hope it gets shot down before it even gets to the Congress to vote. But it basically gives criminals in this country all the rights. I mean, man, you can't touch them and they'll sue you. You put them in jail, they're going to walk out the back door. It gives criminals all the rights. ICE can't go and knock on a door and arrest anybody. I mean, it's pathetic what's in this Breathe Act. And all it is to dismantle the police and absolutely destroy any and all of our security in this nation. What it's going to create is you and I and everyone being afraid to step out the front or the back door of our homes without having protection strapped on our hip, kind of like the days of the old Dodge City. The Democrats don't care. The attitude from Joe Biden saying that he wants to transform America, and then you have these idiots, and that's what they are, I'm not going to back up, idiots like Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar, Presley, etc., saying, well, we've got to transform America. That is going to be a catchphrase for a long time, folks. Transformation of America. Be careful. And it's being promoted by the evil, sinister Democratic Party. Beware. Want to remind you again about our Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. As we talked to Trent earlier, they do have the best in all the tires for your driving needs. Hold on, caller, I'll be right there. Whether it's for your car, your pickup, SUV, horse trailer, boat trailer, whatever, all your tires for your summertime travel, anytime travel. You stop in and see them today. And don't forget, too, that they have the best in brake service. Absolutely, with qualified people that really know brakes. And, of course, also front-end alignment, shocks and struts, and batteries. You can't go anywhere without a good battery. They've got them all. You be sure and stop in and see James and Buell, Dan on Pole Line in Twin Falls, Lane and Rupert, Mike and Jerome, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, and the Twist family in Paul, Trent on Overland in Burley, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Center. Stop in and see them today. Caller, I've got 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Well, okay. I'll get it into the 2 minutes. I think that too many of us have forgotten that the United States of America is comprised of somebody from every corner of this planet. And you know what? We get the best. When they come to the U.S., they bring their talents. And how do we stay so good as we are? Those people are accepted. Now, I think the first American that steps forward and says that isn't true, they should just have a slap on their face. Because we are so fortunate. We're the envy of the whole world.
We are the envy of the whole world under our system of freedom and freedom of speech, our amendments to the Constitution itself, it's the best anywhere, anytime, ever in the history of the world. So why do these Democrats, why do these absolutely dangerous, evil people say that they want to transform America? Give me one doggone good reason.
I don't think they have one good reason. They are just sitting back and they're just messing with our heads and trying to convince us that we believe the way they do. So those of us who love this country, we've got to stand tall and not waver.
Amen. And you did that, by the way, in 1 minute and 55 seconds. Great job.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you. I tell you what, we've got so many things to take care of and so many things to be involved in. That's the key word, involved in. And I didn't even get a chance to talk to you about the culture changers that are now going after the Cleveland Indians, the Atlanta Braves, the Washington Redskins, the Kansas City Chiefs, etc. Oh, I got to change their names. They can't have that anymore. We don't like it. Well, probably 99% of us do, and that silly, sad, absolutely brain-twisted left 1%, they want to change the names. Oh, we can't have that anymore. It's getting and is ridiculous. We're going to take a little break and come back in about 7 minutes with more Zeb at the Ranch. We've got Bill Bullard coming up at 9:06. Don't go away. Good morning, and welcome back. Hour number 2, Zeb at the Ranch on a Wednesday, already July 8th. Holy smokes, this summer is flying by. Morning to you from our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations, providing a safe, clean environment and the best in tires. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, along with Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, let's hear some good words for our friends at Western Waste Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're all at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this free land. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Waste Services.
The service is phenomenal, and I got to relate to a story I had earlier this spring. I needed a dumpster. Boy, they dropped it off. We filled it up. We needed it again. They emptied it, and they brought it back. I mean, they are phenomenal. And if you're doing a lot of cleaning and throwing out, I'll tell you what, they've got the dumpsters in various sizes. Just give them a call. They'll drop it off, and like I said, when you fill it up, they'll come and get it. Western Waste Services, 734-6969. Always at your disposal. That's really the truth. Sean, could we please have the good word for the Silver State Stampede?
The thunder of hooves, the thrill of the crowd, family entertainment at its best when the Silver State Stampede roars into Elko July 10, 11, and 12 at the Elko County Fairgrounds. Bring the family and enjoy 3 big days of PRCA rodeo action, along with the Old West bronc riding, mini bull riding, the Copper Riders, mutton busting, the world-famous Ring of Fear, and dance the night away to the music of the Moonshine Outlaws. Get your advance tickets today at J.M. Capriola Company, IFA, the Boot Barn, Roy's, and the Elko Chamber of Commerce. The best in the West is waiting for you at the 2020 Silver State Stampede, July 10, 11, and 12. Don't miss it. For more information, visit us at silverstatestampede.com. Silver State Stampede will be following all of the Nevada Governor's directives, Nevada United Roadmap to Recovery Plan, as well as the CDC guidelines. The safety of everyone is our top priority.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And don't forget, too, Hanson Mortuary with Joel Heward, his family, and his staff serving you and your family in a real tumultuous time of need after there's the passing of a loved one. I urge you to call them at 436-5636. That number again, 436-5636. Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert. Absolutely providing the families they serve with the best possible support and comfort. And remember this, they are committed to always upholding the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity in serving you. Hanson Mortuary in Rupert, 436-5636. And Joel Heward also serving you and your family at Morrison Payne Funeral Home on East Main in Burley. Let's go to the phone line right now, and a dear friend on the program with us this morning that knows the cattle business, and he is the CEO of RCAF USA up in Montana. Beautiful country up there. Bill Bullard, how are you this morning?
Doing great. Good morning, Zeb.
By the way, didn't have a chance to ask, and I certainly hope she's doing well. Your wife, I pray, is doing better.
Yes, she is. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Bill, what's going on? I'm going to start this off a little different right now. What's really the status of the cattle industry in the United States today? I mean, it's gone through some really ragged times as of late. What is the status in your opinion?
Well, the status is we're perhaps in the worst economic cost-price squeeze that our industry has seen for decades, at least since the early 80s, if not throughout the entire history of the industry. I don't recall a time when cattle producers had cattle to sell but no market to sell into, and that's the situation that many producers find themselves in today.
That leads me into this story, and I appreciate the press release that you sent me about the USDA not buying RFID cattle ear tags from American manufacturers. Would you please give us the gist of that story?
Well, it's quite alarming that here we are in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, and a clear recognition that our U.S. economy is being weakened as a result, and that the most important thing we can do is to begin to support domestic supply chains, domestic manufacturers, domestic farmers and ranchers. We need to provide opportunities for workers to work, and so we need to refocus on America in order to strengthen America from the ground up. And here we have the U.S. Department of Agriculture, number one, trying to impose the most costly identification system upon every U.S. cattle producer, and that's the RFID, or radio frequency information ear tags. And while they're doing this, and they've been unsuccessful because first they tried to unlawfully mandate the exclusive use of RFID ear tags. We filed a lawsuit and stopped them. And so their next step was to purchase 8 million ear tags, and they did so from a foreign manufacturer. And we only learned about this because the COVID-19 pandemic has disrupted trade shipments from foreign countries. Mm-hmm. And so these 8 million ear tags were not able to be delivered, and USDA wanted to initially give them free of charge to producers in order to entice them to accept this mandate of a mandatory RFID ear tag use for all adult cattle sold across state lines. And so the agency, which is the U.S. Department of Agriculture, has completely bypassed American manufacturers. They bypassed the domestic supply chain. They're not given an opportunity to re-strengthen America, and instead they're buying from foreign suppliers. And then they want the American cattle producer, who perhaps knows better than anyone in the economy how important it is to support the rural communities and the manufacturing base in America. And here the USDA has deprived American manufacturers of the opportunity to provide these tags. So the USDA wants American cattle producers to put foreign ear tags on their American cattle. And at the same time, this is the agency that doesn't want these same producers to be able to distinguish their American beef in the grocery store for the U.S. consumer, so Americans could support the American rancher. So this is a complete boondoggle, is a nice way to put it. And it's almost beyond imagination that USDA would be doing this in this time of crisis.
And what a joke. I mean, I'm sitting here and I can remember vividly the programs that you and I talked about, these RFID ear tags, and how absolutely atrocious it would be for the livestock industry, the horse industry, and everyone connected with agriculture to have to comply with these ear tags or some kind of RFID source to tell where they're going, where they've been, and everything else. Are we back in this fray again to where it's going to get worse? What's going on here?
Well, Well, that's exactly what's happening. We've held the wolf at bay, if you will, by preventing USDA first from implementing its National Animal Identification System, or NACE, that it tried to do in the mid-2000s. And we held them back, and they issued a watered-down rule that said, okay, we're only going to deal with adult cattle and interstate commerce. Eventually, we want all feeder cattle included. Eventually, we want to monitor the movements of all cattle from one premises to the other. And so USDA is dead set to force this upon the industry, and we keep pushing them back, and then they keep finding a new loophole to try to work through. And so now they have proposed a notice that would essentially accomplish what their illegal mandate was going to accomplish, and that is a requirement that by January 1 of 2023, all adult cattle sold across state lines would be required to be identified with an RFID ear tag. That means just virtually every producer is going to have to comply with this mandate, and USDA would no longer provide the metal ear tags that are far cheaper. In fact, they cost zero for producers. So the USDA is just dead set to force this upon the industry, regardless of the economic situation, regardless of whether it's even necessary, and regardless of whether it will put producers out of business because they can't afford the infrastructure necessary to support the electronic ear tags, let alone the cost of the tags, in this time where the producers are not now receiving their cost of production. That means any additional cost could be a breaking point for many producers. This is irresponsible. It is un-American. It is a travesty.
Bill, define for me the necessity and or forced ear tag in the ear of all livestock. Would it be only livestock that's going to market? Would it be interstate traffic of livestock like the rodeo business? Or would it be also for the horse business of going to a rodeo in Red Bluff, California? Or would it be like going to a cutting down in Fort Worth, Texas? I mean, how does it and how is it applicable to all aspects of the livestock business?
Well, initially, back in the mid-2000s, they wanted all livestock, horses, cattle, sheep, hogs, and even chickens to be identified.
Oh, my.
And we pushed them back, and so now they are focused exclusively on the cattle industry, and cattle and bison. And so right now the requirement is that for all cattle and bison that cross state lines, and those cattle are adult cattle over 18 months of age, those animals are currently required to be officially identified. The producers have a choice, given the 2013 law that said that they could use ear tags, such as metal ear tags or RFID ear tags if they want to, but they can also use back tags, they can use brands, tattoos, and they can use group lot identification. So producers have a variety of choices right now to use the one that best fits their operation to meet the requirement that adult cattle shipped across state lines must be identified. That's just because they've been pushed back. They're starting with the cattle, but their overall goal is to go back to requiring all livestock to be individually identified from birth till the end of life. And so their next focus is going to be on the feeder cattle of all ages. And then the next focus would be to move to these other livestock species, such as horses and hogs and sheep. And, well, sheep are already required because of the scabies program. But this is a government encroachment upon an industry that is intended to strip away the liberty and freedom of independent cattle producers. And they're on the front lines, but all the other farmers and ranchers that raise all other types of livestock are kind of on the secondary tier of this overall effort of this agency to push this upon the industry.
Yeah.
Remember, the reason they're doing this is because of the global initiative.
You know, I'm sitting here, and it seems like, here again, I don't care what situation it is or what news story you follow every day, more of a thumbs down on America and the American producer. And yet, we open the floodgates for foreign countries to bring in beef that we don't have a clue how it was raised or processed.
Well, that's exactly right, and that's why the first line of defense for every consumer is to have a country of origin label on all beef, so they could choose whether they want to buy beef from Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Uruguay, Brazil, Mexico, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, or if they would prefer to buy beef that they know is subject to the most stringent production standards in the world, and of course that's the best beef in the world that's produced by the U.S. cattle producer right here in America. And so this is an overall effort to weaken the U.S. cattle industry and to actually capture control over the supply chain of the U.S. cattle industry. And the first step in doing that is requiring producers to identify their animals, and that generates a database that will provide information as to where the animal was born and raised and when the animal was moved from one location to the other. And when the meat packers that are highly concentrated can access this information, it's essentially game over for a competitive marketplace, because having this information in a centralized database is all that is needed to really capture control over the supply chain of the U.S. cattle industry.
Absolutely.
That's what this is all about.
Yeah. Let me say this, and you got to promise me you won't laugh at me out loud on the radio for my conspiracy theory, but if I say this regarding the RFID tags that are manufactured and sent from foreign countries, would there be any information that could be obtained through the foreign-made ear tags that would be applicable and an advantage for the foreign countries to know through having those ear tags? Does that make sense?
Well, and that isn't at all far-fetched, because they recognize that the security and surveillance cameras and other equipment that were manufactured in China provided the ability for the Chinese to access that information here in America. The information generated by those security devices. And so whether or not it's possible to have a chip in those ear tags where the data could be sent elsewhere via, I don't know how that would work, but that's not too far-fetched, and that should be a concern of every producer, because that gets to the privacy issue, the right of the American cattle producer to maintain his or her privacy as to how they conduct their own businesses. This is just anti-American.
Bill, what are you hearing from out in the hills and the valleys, out in the cow country? What are you hearing from the producers? Are they as outraged as they should be?
Well, they certainly are, but of course you have producers of varying ages and of varying financial statuses in our industry. And so the producers who are currently not receiving their production costs in the marketplace, but yet have mortgages and loans that need to be paid, their number one concern is the economic condition. Their number one concern is lack of profitability. For other producers who are able to, withstand this current crisis that we're in, they can be looking at issues like the animal identification mandate, and they can be focused on that because they don't have the wolf banging on their door, so to speak. So there is, I believe, overwhelming opposition to what USDA is attempting to do, and that was demonstrated over the past more than a decade when producers did fight back universally against the government mandate. But the government is persistent and has deep pockets and continues to push and push in an effort to try to wear people down. Unfortunately, we're likely to lose a lot of producers if something isn't done right now to correct the economy, the marketplace itself, so producers can once again begin earning a competitive income from a competitive marketplace. They can't do that now because we don't have a competitive marketplace. So this is just another layer of challenges stacked upon an industry that has been in crisis now for over 5 years, at least since January 15, when cattle prices inexplicably collapsed further and faster than any time in history. and have not even begun to get close to recovering.
Bill, I've only got about 2 minutes left, and I want to quickly have you touch on the petition calling for beef checkoff referendum. Explain that quickly, if you could.
That's right. There's an electronic petition that has been formally filed with the Department of Agriculture, at least notice that the petition exists. So producers can go to the petition, and they're asking for a referendum on the National Beef Checkoff Program. And the petition or the referendum that would be called would be one that would be an up or down vote as to whether or not the current beef checkoff program should be ended. And so this is an opportunity for producers for the first time in 35 years to have a voice as to whether or not they support the current operation of the National Beef Checkoff Program. And producers can access that petition if they go to our website and look at our latest news section and click on the petition for the beef checkoff referendum, and they can electronically sign the petition. We need 88,000, in fact, a little more than 88,000 producers to sign the petition, representing 10% of the industry. And with 88,000 plus signatures, the Secretary of Agriculture would then call for a referendum, giving producers the opportunity to vote up or down as to whether or not they want to terminate the current beef checkoff program. And we think producers deserve this opportunity, and it's an example of producers reclaiming the independence that has been taken from them by this government-mandated program, which is a tax on every animal that they sell.
Absolutely. Bill, I wished I had more time. Every time that you're on this program, we learn a lot, and you really voice the concerns of the livestock industry very well, and I appreciate your being here. The CEO of RCAF USA, Bill Bullard, up in Montana, and God bless you, man, and please come back soon.
Thank you very much, Deb.
All right, sir. Great guy, and I really enjoy his very well-educated, articulate approach to what's going on in the livestock industry. Thank you very much, Bill Bullard. Holy moly, where am I at here? Well, I'm sitting in a chair. Oh, I got to tell you a little bit about Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. Oh, my goodness, they are busy over there helping you get back to being you. Absolutely. Nick Greenwell and all the physical therapists at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, they know their stuff. Let me tell you, they know all the exercises, and they've got the hydrotherapy pool, the only one of its kind in the area. And, of course, they can help you recoup from a surgery or an accident. Do not put it off. You call them for an appointment today. They are the best. 678-1191. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. You get a hold of them today. That number again, 678-1191. Oh, by the by, don't forget on the 23rd of July, Thursday the 23rd, we're going to have our next lunch bunch over at Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley. Oh, those people have been so good and so dedicated to providing you and your family, friends, everybody great, delicious food on the menu. And what nice people to work with. I urge you to stop in and see them today. Now, it's called America's Diner for a good reason, because it is absolutely a great place in America to go eat. At 611 North Overland in Burley, and another location at 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, desserts, everything all the time at Denny's Restaurant. You stop in and see those good folks today. Wow, coming up in just a few minutes, I'm really looking forward. We had him scheduled a couple of weeks ago to be on the program, and evidently there were some confliction with his calendar and my calendar, and we didn't get him on the air, but we're going to have author and great, very articulate Christian spokesperson Alex McFarland on our program in just a moment. Want to urge everybody to remember Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. Now, you can't stay locked up in your office. You can't stay in your house. Beautiful weather, beautiful Idaho outdoors. Get a four-wheeler or a side-by-side and get out of Dodge City and have some fun. Absolutely. Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. The hours Monday through Friday, 9 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 2, and along with a showroom full of fun, I don't know how they get it all in there, they've got a great big huge accessory department and a super service department to keep you running. Let's ride. In Rupert area, yep, that's where the fun is sold. Good folks. And over in that same area on Highway 24, just a little bit further down the road on the curve going into Rupert, don't forget Cameron and Siemens Insurance, life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, all of this and so much more. But I want to emphasize the word service because that really is something. Todd absolutely and his staff, they are service-oriented and very dedicated and responsive to your needs. All you need to do is call them. Make an appointment at 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. I know because they help us, and I know that they will help you. Absolutely. Cameron and Siemens Insurance. One other quick note before we go to Alex on our program. I want to mention, coming up starting this weekend, of course, the huge, and that means really big, and it is, Oakley Pioneer Days. And some of the merchants up there that invite you up to Oakley this weekend and all of next week, Clark's for Shopping at 100 East Main Street in Oakley with that famous Grandma's recipe for the sausage in bulk patties or links. Oh, it is good. It is delicious. And Clark's for Shopping say, come on up and support Oakley Pioneer Days. Absolutely. Oakley Valley Stone, my goodness, at 204 West Main Street in Oakley. Come up to Oakley and celebrate a 133-year anniversary. And if you're looking for stone for a new fireplace, headstone for a loved one, landscaping, whatever, yep, this is the place, Oakley Valley Stone. And a great place to go eat, Smith's Cafe, 135 East Main Street in Oakley. They're open Tuesday through Saturday, 8 o'clock in the morning until all the customers leave and are happy and fed and full. Absolutely. With the best of burgers and cold drinks in the summertime, they've got it all for you at Smith's Cafe. And last but not least, my buddy Speaker of the House and Representative Scott Bedke invites you to come on up to Oakley for what he says, and it's true, the best celebration in Idaho, the Oakley Pioneer Days. Everybody head on up to Oakley. Thank you, Speaker of the House, Scott Bedke. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go to the phone line right now and not keep him waiting. And we have with us author of the book, Moral Decay, and boy, did he hit that one on the head, Alex McFarland. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. What an honor to be back with you. Thank you for having me.
Well, we had some conflicts in scheduling the last time you were supposed to be on, and I'm so glad that you could help us out this morning. And there's a lot of things I want to talk to you about, Alex, but your book, Moral Decay, The Real Cultural Threat No One Talks About. Why? I mean, every American should be able to look out their front room window, look at the news, pick up the newspaper and say, hey, there's trouble in River City. Everything's falling apart.
Yeah, I mean, for real. And in fact, I have a new book coming out that will be out by the 1st of September that really talks about how the next 4 months will absolutely shape our future, for good or for ill. And let me make a distinction here. The founders, when they talked about we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all are created equal and are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. Okay, self-evident truth, I mean, it goes by many names. Objective truth, absolute truth, moral truth. The founders believed in morality. Now, here's what's different about our day and age today. A lot of people assume that the founders meant, and America means, all beliefs and all behaviors are equally good and true and valid. Not all beliefs are equally true and good and valid. And so we're really kind of in a time of anarchy and lawlessness because we've ceased to believe that some things are right and some things are wrong. We've lost our moral compass, and it's going to be our undoing.
I absolutely cannot understand the position we're in right now, Alex. I look at the news every day. I study the news for my program. I don't understand why leadership in our country, whether it's Chicago, L.A., New York City, or whatever, has allowed this absolute idiotic movement of whether it's Black Lives Matter or Antifa, whatever, to literally destroy and decay our societies without having a severe bloody nose. Nobody seems to want to fight back. The police are being pulled back. We've got to correct this. It's gone too far.
Oh, it's gone way too far. And, part of the reason that we don't have a lot of moral courage, brothers, one of the reasons that we don't have a lot of moral courage is because so many people themselves are not really living moral lives. Now, I want to be very clear, and I'm speaking from my heart. I'm not going off of any talking points. I'm speaking from a heart of conviction that cares passionately for this nation. But here's the thing. The First Amendment says that Congress will make no law regarding the establishment of religion. I get that. You can be a Christian, you can be a non-Christian, you can be a Muslim, you can be observant Jew, you can be a New Ager. In this America, you can pursue whatever religion you want. But that should not mean that we don't have an observed moral code. And I'm just going to say this. Our Declaration says that God guarantees and endows to all people, first and most fundamentally, the right to life. And when we're, really murdering 3,000 babies a day, it's a billion-dollar industry called abortion. It's hard to have much moral courage about anything else if you can kill babies and not feel bad about it. Because here's the gradation. There are lower-level moral truths and higher-level moral truths. If a little old lady stumbles and falls down, an able-bodied person should help her up. If somebody is about to be killed by an assailant, if somebody can, they should intervene. All right, here's the thing. We are failing at so many of the lower-level moral truths because we have failed at the highest-level moral truth, protection of human life. And so one of the reasons that we don't care about breaking laws, vandalism, smashing windows, erasing our history, we have no moral courage at the highest thing, life. Therefore, we have no moral courage at the lower things, civility and stability and the rule of law. We're in a tailspin apart from a move of God, which I pray would begin amongst the hearts of your listeners, beginning even right this moment.
Alex, I really am upset to the point, and Sean, we've got a little bit of feedback. If you'd ride that gain a little bit, I'm getting feedback when I talk. Thank you. What happened in California with Governor Newsom's ban on singing worship songs in church? I have slammed my Tony Lama boot down for the last time. Government will not impede or have any interaction with the way I want to sing, whether it's the old rugged cross or whether it's Rock of Ages. I'm going to go ahead and sing in my church services, and the government, quite frankly, don't take this the wrong way, but the government be damned, because in Acts 5, verse 29, it says we must obey God rather than any human authority.
Exactly. Now, to paraphrase the founders and Jefferson specifically. By the way, at the Jefferson Memorial in D.C., it says that, opposition to tyranny is a duty. Okay. Jefferson wrote, appealing to God for the rectitude of our intentions. All right? I'm going to do that. And as a minister and as a citizen and as a theologian, and the Bible does say that those who are teachers will be judged more strictly. So what I'm about to say, I'm keenly aware that I will answer to God for what I'm about to say, and I'll say it anyway. It is time for civil disobedience. Listen, Alex McFarland, on record, I am telling Californians to respectfully but decisively disobey. The government will not tell us how to worship. Because here's the thing. Look, controlling the behavior of a sick person is called quarantine. Controlling the behaviors of the citizenry is called tyranny. And I agree with the founders. We have an obligation to stand against tyranny. So government, I'm in Central North Carolina, come and get me. Before God Almighty, we must stand up and try to defend this nation. And our nation was founded on moral principles. And America, if you want what we've had, we have to acknowledge and defend what gave us what we had, and that was belief in moral truth. And I will happily, gladly, in fact, with relish and zeal, debate any leftist progressive. I would be happy in a respectful academic setting to talk about the nuts and bolts of what is America and why Democrat socialism is destroying the country. And I beg to everyone listening, get on your knees and pray, read, and stay informed, and then let's re-elect this president. Not that I think Donald Trump has all the answers, but I guarantee that Biden and the Democrat socialists are the problem, not the answer.
You know, Alex, you've kind of played right into my hand as to what I wanted to lead you in next. And when I heard Joe Biden the other day say that if he's elected president, he wants to transform America. That's the key word right there. Then yesterday, the three members of the squad, Presley and Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, Muslims that have been brought to this country and absolutely been allowed to flourish in this country, and now they hate this country, they came out with the same words that they want to see the Democratic Party transform America. I've got a real chill going up my backbone when I hear the word transform.
Yeah, well, you know, Al Gore promised to reinvent government. Barack Obama promised that he would transform America, and they did. Listen, I'm holding in my hand, folks. I am holding in my hand some of the talking points of the Democrat strategy. This was sent to me. This is not in all the commercials, but this is their game plan. All right, listen, folks, and this is really contraband. It's not for public consumption, but it was sent to me so that we could really blow the cover off what the Democrats are up to. All right, number one, if Biden is elected, number one, they want to add 2 to 4 justices to the Supreme Court. Number two, now listen, they will give citizenship, including voting rights, to 10 to 15 million illegals. They are going to open the borders with relaxed border security, add 1 to 2 million new illegals to the voting rolls each year. And this is their goal over the next 4 years of a Biden presidency, that they, within the first quarter of 2021, will give citizenship and voting rights to 15 million illegals. And then by the time Biden finishes his first term, God forbid, they will add 8 million new illegals to the voting rolls. And folks, we will never live to see another Republican president or Congress. And therefore, we will never live to see America be America again. We will, and I would say this is not on this list of about 20 things Biden is going to do if he's elected. But I promise you, and again, I'll go on record predicting this, and I've studied politics. By the way, just a little backstory. My mom was president of the North Carolina Young Republicans in the 50s, and my mom and dad were intensely political. I never dreamed that I would be, but my mom accurately predicted the outcome of every presidential election from 1960 until 2012. She died in 2014. So here's my prediction. If Biden is elected, there will be a UN tribunal. The World Health Organization will be a part of it. It'll ostensibly be to better the human condition but in light of the pandemic, blah, 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 our Constitution will be gone before the end of the Biden presidency. Now, you say, well, why should I care? Because, well, for one thing, it would be a tragedy of historic magnitude, the greatest Constitution in world history. But the other thing is, it will mean that your kids and grandkids and we ourselves will live in socialist tyranny till the day we leave this world.
You know, Sean, it backs up on the monopoly board right back to square one, and that being a lack of education, a lack of respect, and a lack of pride in this United States of America. We live in the greatest country in the world that still offers more opportunity than any other country in the world, and yet the mobs and the rioters and the protesters are promoting and pushing for socialism, and I guess at 72 years of old age, I sit back and I say, why? Why can't they understand what a great beacon of hope they have and they're living in?
Exactly. Hey, on my first of several trips to Africa, I had families begging if I would bring their kids to America and raise them in America. I've had people in foreign countries offer me money if I would bring their children to the USA and raise them in America. And, yeah, I think about this traitor, Colin Kaepernick. I mean, on July 4th, to tweet that our Independence Day from Great Britain is a holiday to white supremacy. You know, if these barely literate thugs that become millionaires for playing a game, talk about wasting your life. You know, the only thing that's a bigger waste than NFL players playing a game are the people that waste their life watching it. And now the NFL says that they're going to play the black national anthem. Folks, I beg of everyone to never support this treasonous waste called the NFL. Because look, there's one national anthem. It's for all ethnicities: Caucasian, African American, Asian. Look, we are not to be the divided states of America. We're to be the United States of America. And, you know, where else but in America could high school educated thugs make $5 million a year for playing a game?
Well,
and so, you know, if Colin Kaepernick wants to go live in Ghana or China or any of the third world countries that I've done mission work in, you know, I would welcome him to relocate there. But we know he wouldn't because, see, all of these celebrities and these rich, pampered reprobates, and they are reprobates, and they need Jesus, and they need some moral sensibility. If they would humble themselves before the God to whom they will one day answer, they would realize they ought to be darn grateful for this land of milk and honey that's given them all of the things that they feel entitled to.
Well, Alex, I asked you this one other time in simplistic fashion. Is it too late, or how are we going to turn this bus around before it goes over the cliff?
It's not too late. It's not too late, but it's almost. America is almost out of last chances. It's not too late. But I will say this. Let me say this about our elected officials like Pelosi and the squad. All right. The patient is valiantly struggling to live, and yet the quote-unquote doctors are attempting euthanasia. You know, America is like a patient trying to survive, and the doctor is administering hemlock. And so we have got one of the things, and here's the order, and I say this as a citizen, and, you know, if I seem heavy-handed, I ask forgiveness. We're just talking about our future here, folks. Talking about the souls of people. Number one, I would say to everybody listening, you know, God loves you. God does love you, and Christ died for you. And number one, make sure that you're a citizen of heaven, and you can call on Christ right now and say, Lord, come into my life and save my soul, and God will do that. And so number one, make sure that you have a relationship with God. Number two, pray. And I would ask everybody, look, forget denominations, whatever creed or church you go to, but pray for America. And then be informed, be an influencer, and have some conversation. Look, you might not like Donald Trump. Maybe you think he's over the top and bombastic, and he is. But Churchill was, John Wayne was, the founders were. You know, I mean, Patrick Henry said, "Give me liberty or give me death." You know, the people that gave us this America were bombastic, over the top people. That's what leaders are. But I would say pray, maybe even fast and pray, and vote. And please, let's not let the treasonous anti-American Democrats destroy the greatest beacon of hope and liberty on the face of planet Earth.
Wow. I just wish we had more time. It went way too fast. And I want to thank you, Alex McFarland. Real quick, tell us about your books, where they can be obtained, real fast.
AlexMcFarland.com or the Facebook page Rev, R-E-V, Rev, Alex McFarland.
All I want to say is I'm going to hold your feet to the fire to come back real soon, Alex. Thank you so much.
God bless you, my friend. I look forward to visiting with you soon.
All right, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, I really appreciate that man and his concepts and his words this morning. Alex McFarland, thank you very, very much. We've got to have a weather forecast. Holy smokes, am I late? Yeah, you know I am. Always running late. Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company, providing accounting services to the Mini-Cache area for well over 50 years. They are the professionals with tax return preparation, tax planning, business consulting, financial statement preparation, retirement planning. They're there to serve you, your family, and your business, and serve you well, let me tell you. Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company, the professionals with offices in Burley and Rupert. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Another beautiful day here in the valley as we hit midweek, and we're expecting sunny skies for today. A little bit of a breeze out of the west at about 10 miles an hour. We are expecting a high of 80. Tonight, nice and clear with a low of 52. Winds out of the west-northwest at about 10 miles an hour. For Thursday, sunny skies, high of 88. Mostly clear for Thursday night with a low of 56. And by Friday, sunny skies, about 87, 92 expected for Saturday. That's what's your weather for 7-3.
Oh, it's going to get warm. Yes, it is. Summertime. Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company. And I'll tell you what, they are there to serve everybody in agriculture, manufacturing, food production, whatever your business, you bet they can help you. They are the professionals. As I said, the best of accounting services for the Mini-Cache area and beyond for over 50 years. Offices located at 1710 Overland in Burley and 620 5th Street in Rupert. Yup, the professionals, Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company. I've got time for a call or two. Give me a jingle on the landline, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. While I have just a minute here while I'm waiting for your call, I want to remind you, too, about Patterson's Electronics at 421 East Main in Burley. Curtis and Lorena and the staff serving you with all your electronic needs. And by the way, we've still got a couple of days left. You go in and purchase anything at Patterson's Electronics, and percentage of the proceeds from your purchase will go to help your local charity. Name the top charity, and the top two will get $500 each from Patterson's. I'm going to be telling you more after the 15th. Patterson's Electronics, 421 East Main in Burley. They're open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6. All the home theater systems, video surveillance cameras, speakers, car stereos, all the complete sound systems, TVs, it's all there at Patterson's Electronics, 421 East Main in Burley. Oh, boy, give me a call. Quickly, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana tells it like it is. I wished we had hundreds like him back east on the Potomac, because he's spot on. And he tells everything with truthful statements, like he said, Chicago is the largest outdoor shooting range in America. And he said it's not caused by the coronavirus, It's not caused by racism. It's caused by nihilism. People don't care anymore. People have lost their sense of values. People have lost their sense of pride. People have lost their sense of respect for their fellow man. And it's got to be re-implemented. And on this program, we're also going to tell it like it is. We need law enforcement to go in and clean up these cesspools. Whether it's New York, Chicago, doesn't make any difference if it's Minneapolis, Milwaukee, L.A., I don't care. The cesspools and the people that are controlling the cesspools right now need to be completely taken out of power. Caller, quickly, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Hi. I just agree with you so much. And that Mr. Kennedy that has been talking about Donald Trump, he is right. Our president is a hero, and especially for those of us who believe in God. And I'm amazed. I hope that our president goes down in history for being a leader, a Christian leader, because he certainly is.
Well, look at the masses that have turned their backs on God, turned their backs on religion, turned their backs on right and wrong, and the proof is in the pudding. We've got chaotic, demented people that are roaming the streets, burning, looting, and beating people, and we've got to turn this bus around. It's almost too late.
Well, the problem is that people have quit teaching the kids the golden rule.
That's right.
And I'm telling you, I am so glad that both of my children grew up in the church, and my husband did too. My youngest son is the one that still goes to church, but I think the others still have But anyway, our country is so precious. We cannot let it go.
Amen. I've got one more call I've got to get to, Chris, before I leave, and thank you. God bless you. Caller, I've got about 45 seconds maximum. Real fast. Go.
They hung up.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Sean. It's no time to sit back and do nothing. We all need to speak up and stop this slime that is encroaching all across America. Absolute slime. By the way, don't forget, too, Pioneer Days up in Oakley. It starts this weekend, July 10th, and goes all the way through the 18th. Man, they're going to have some great events up there for everybody. The famous Oakley Pioneer Days this Friday and Saturday with the bump and rub car race. Everybody enjoys that. They're going to have gymkhanas and open rodeos and fireworks and all kinds of great food, chuck wagon breakfast. And on Pioneer Day Parade on the 18th, it's going to be the biggest and best. Respect the past, embrace the future. All of this and so much more at your Oakley Pioneer Days for 2020. Don't you miss it. Right now, Sean's going to take us to CBS News. I'll be back in 7 minutes. Good morning. Welcome back. Pardon me, I got a little frog in my throat there. Zeb at the Ranch, hour number 3, and we're going to get right back into it. Brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley, Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations with a very safe, clean environment and the best in tires. Along with our friends at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Quickly, I want to remind everybody about Greystone Crossing Senior Living, located on 21st Street, which is Alfresco Road, and I urge you to call Matt and Kelly Wiggins at 650-4979. Seniors, listen to me. This is a beautiful 12-bedroom home, absolutely brand spanking new. They furnish 3 meals a day, snacks, housekeeping, and local transportation, and they would like to have you become a resident. Call them 650-4979. Greystone Crossing Senior Living on Alfresco Road in Heyburn. Also want to acknowledge our friends with 7K Metals. Yes, you can create your own financial security and future through silver purchases sent right smack dab to your home. A great saving opportunity for you and a valued treasure for your loved ones in the future. Find out more. Call my friends Lon Hardy at 312-8699 or Sharon at 430-3259. Tell them I told you to call. They'll help you with 7K Metals and silver purchases. Be sure and do it today. A great financial security for your future. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to the phone line right now, and with us, and I'm
not called in yet.
He has not called in yet. That bodes ill will. I certainly hope he does. We are expecting a call from Governor Brad Little in just a moment, and maybe they're calling on my home line at the ranch. I hope not. But we were expecting him this morning to talk about the COVID problem, and along with the school openings, and also what else is going on in the news today. So we've got a lot of things we need to visit with him about. Sean, has he called in at all over there yet?
No.
Okay. I know you'll let me know when he does. Until that time, and I'm sitting here because I was anticipating that everything was all well with that call. Give me a jingle at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I would like to know from the parents out in the audience.
They're trying to call you.
They're trying to call right now?
Yeah.
There was a delay?
Yeah, they
Got the numbers mixed up? Okay. Sean, they should be calling you while we speak, I guess. They're just called my office here, and they should be calling you immediately, which I hope they do. While I'm waiting, I might as well tell you about Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More real quick so I don't have to interrupt anybody later. At Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More, they're having what they call the Sensational Flooring Event. 48 months, same as cash on approved credit. Wow. All the carpeting for your home and all the luxury vinyl for your entire home. You better check it out. And tomorrow, Jeff is going to be on the program, and we're going to be talking about this great big event going on at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Don't forget, they're located at 459 Overland in Burley. This is an annual big event for your carpet and your flooring at your store. For the beautification and comfortization of your home, Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. 459 Overland in Burley. I understand that right now we do have a good friend and the governor on the program. Governor Brad Little, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. How are you?
I am good. By the way, I'm going to say this right up front. I wouldn't trade boots with you and be in your office for all the money in the world.
I called Governor Otter the other day, and he said my timing was impeccable to get out of there. So, yeah, there's plenty going on, but we just ended the fiscal year the end of June, and of course our revenue is dependent upon what happened last year. But we had a great year last year, but we're making the adjustments to have a good year this year, but. It's going to be a little trickier than it normally is.
Absolutely. Governor, I know, and Sean over at the station, if you could cut back on my feedback on the line, I'd appreciate it. I know that tomorrow at noon you're going to have a meeting and talking about school reopening or not plan, and I'd like you, if you could, to pull back the curtain a little bit and give us a sneak preview. Are we going to be able to have our kids back in school in less than 6 weeks?
That's every intent. There is. We have had a group of superintendents, healthcare officials, state board members. Debbie Critchfield from down in Cassia County has been, and Oakley has been leading that effort as the chairman of the board, and we have every intent to have schools open. Last spring when we had this rec started, the only school that I advocated for closing was in Blaine County, where we didn't have any hospital capacity. The rest of the schools were kind of closed by the school districts, and I didn't have a problem with them at some point in time, but I thought they needed to prepare those kids for being at home. So we're trying to get ahead of that right now and really emphasize to parents, to students, to teachers, to administrators, that we want schools open and to give them the tools they need to get these kids back in school.
Governor, it goes without saying, and I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but the National Teachers Union has come out and they said that, oh, well, we better make sure it's absolutely safe before we open schools up again. And I would offer to you that there is no such thing as 100% safe on anything in life. I get a little tired of hearing, oh, we got to have it perfectly safe for our kids. That's just not going to happen.
Well, you're exactly right. But, the teachers, particularly if you're somebody that's a teacher that's older or health compromised, we're addressing that in what we're talking about. Now, there's children that, for the most part, 90-some% of children, they'll, if they get the COVID virus, but if they have diabetes, if they have asthma, that's a whole different deal. Those are kids that we are concerned about. But generally, and when I say generally, I'm talking a high percentage. These kids, there's not a problem. The problem is they infect teachers, they infect parents, they infect. That's what we're concerned about. So we're putting in protocols to. And advice and counsel and cleaning and all those other things to take care of that as best we can.
Governor, do you anticipate that there's going to be a mask mandatory ruling from your office, or what's the status on this? I just want to know from my audience what's being thought up at the State House.
Well, from my standpoint, I've said multiple times, and I've been enough of I think this is something a cowboy taught me one time, is never say never and never say always. But it is not, I don't think it's prudent at all to go to areas of the state where there's no community spread, where there's no incidence of it, and tell those people there that they have to wear a mask. But in areas where they've got significant community spread, where they're worried about hospital capacity, I'm leaving that up to the health districts. Some of the legislators from your district were ones that said, let's let the health districts decide, and that's what we're doing now, because, they decide on measles, they decide on, in the old days, they did it on smallpox. The health districts were put in place to address these things on a regional basis rather than a statewide basis.
Yeah, but Governor, let me back up a little bit and throw this at you, cowboy to cowboy. If the people like the Teachers Union and others are so worried about a 100% safe situation, what about the no-vax, the no-vaccine kids in our school system that actually are helping promote measles and other diseases and also the return of polio into our society? I mean, there's always a danger much more than this coronavirus.
I don't disagree, and in fact, from a vaccination standpoint, one of the things that I've been talking with the White House about on a national basis, and importantly here on a state basis, is, I was, until I had a family member going through chemo, I'd never gotten a flu shot, but I was advised by, if I was going to be around this member, to have a flu shot. But it's really important that people, particularly the ones that are susceptible to flu, get a flu shot this fall, because that flu takes up the same capacity in the hospital as our severe COVID virus people. So we don't need a big flu outbreak this fall and winter matched up with whatever we're going to see from the COVID virus. People that have been need to, and people that haven't been ought to consider it, because that'll preserve capacity for people that need that hospital capacity.
Absolutely. Governor, I need to cover a lot of areas here this morning, and then I'm going to open up the line for some calls and questions. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the front page of our paper this morning that said Idaho ranks last in educational spending. What are your thoughts on that?
You know, I read that article this morning also, and of course, then when you get down into it, this year we had one of the biggest, I think we're in the top 10 of states, the percent increase we gave to teacher pay. We're 41st in spending, which matches up with what our income is for almost everybody else. But, you know, and I'm still wanting to put more resources into education. Obviously, this COVID virus is going to put a damper on it. But what we're doing to manage our budget, what we're doing with our rainy day fund, what we're doing in other areas means that, and I've told every state agency they're going to have 5% less next year, so we don't have to raise taxes and we don't have to make severe cuts. I think we're on the precipice of really, and I hear this from teachers all the time, maybe not the leader of the National Teachers Union, that they're appreciative of what we're doing, but that number basically reflects the fact that in most states, local taxes make up a much bigger percent of how they fund schools, and that's why that, you know, they always try and find the worst number, and the article, when you got to the end of it, wasn't that bad. It was a headline that made it look like we don't care about our kids.
Well, and I would say this, and I'd throw this at you to catch. I'm a little sick and tired of Idaho being denigrated all the time, and like the commercial that was on television about 2 years ago showing kids being dropped off in the desert as far as our Idaho education is concerned. And I'm very proud of the education that my son and daughter had in high school and in college here in the state of Idaho. Throwing money at a situation doesn't necessarily mean it's going to make it better.
And Zeb, that statement that you just made about when I go talk to teachers, and they may be members of the union, they may not be, they all agree with exactly what you said, that the work that we're doing in Idaho, and we've got more work to do. You know, these kids have more challenges in today's society than they did previously, and we're trying to address all those issues. And if I'm doing economic development, if I'm trying to promote education, those negative stories don't do anybody any good other than maybe the newspaper publisher that's trying to get their ratings up.
Absolutely. I want to take just a moment and I want to compliment you for signing Bills 500 and 509. They were necessary. Absolutely necessary, and we are seeing many people threaten the state of Idaho, the ACLU. We're seeing people that are going to say we're going to sue the state of Idaho because of your signing these bills, which I would say protects girls and women's sports as it should be. Your thoughts?
Well, you know, I come from a generation where early on, you know, sports in school were predominantly male by 90-some%. In Title IX, which, you know, and I'm not a big advocate of federal legislation, but Title IX made such a difference. You know, my nieces that got the opportunity to compete in sports and have some of the same opportunity that my nephews had, and of course we have sons, so. But I've got daughter-in-laws now who both got to participate. That opportunity that we have for women to participate in athletics has done society a world of good, and we should have been doing it anyway, but Title IX kind of helped boost it along. There's still some parts of Title IX that I'm not a huge fan of, but the fact that we've giving that opportunity to our female athletes is incredibly important, and we should preserve it all we can.
You know, Governor, it's been said, and I'm going to get very political here, that Joe Biden, the Democratic nominee, has made the statement that he will force public schools to allow biological males on female sports teams if he becomes president. This is all the more reason why the evil Democrats cannot take over that Oval Office.
Well, you alluded to the court case that's going on. We think we've got a pretty good case. We're not saying that that there's. We're just saying that we think that to your point that is unfair, and the state ought to be able to address that. And I'm comfortable where we are in the lawsuit, and perhaps it'll go through the court system and give some clarity to the feds and to other states going forward. So I'm comfortable with where we are.
Absolutely. Sean, over at the station, if we have a call waiting, I'll take it for the governor. Is there anyone on the line?
No, there's not.
All right, calls. We will take one or two calls. They are available and open right now. Governor, let me ask you this. With the coronavirus, and it certainly is not only affecting the state of Idaho, but all states for tourism, that's a big chunk of our income. How much money do we stand to lose this year?
Well, it is about, on a standalone, if you take all the hospitality, restaurants, bars, resorts, hotels, and travel. It's a big part of our economy. But what's taken place for, particularly the last 15 years is we continue to diversify our economy. Most of our food that we produce here, we add value to. We put it into a finished product. We've got a lot of technology companies that are here. We've got a lot of rural communities where, because of broadband technology, they're able to participate in the world economy and develop products and, advanced manufacturing. So we are, like every state, we are taking a hit to our hospitality industry, and my heart goes out to them. Look at the states that are, my friend Mike Dunleavy, who's governor of Alaska, he's got cruise ships, fishing, oil and gas, and tourism. That state is just in terrible shape. We are about to announce a surplus, which is actually over what we thought we'd have from last year, and our revenue numbers coming in are pretty good right now. So, we need to do all we can to help the hospitality industry, but because we've diversified our economy, as I've said over and over, I think Idaho will rebound out of this as good as any state in the union.
All right. Governor, we have a caller with a question and a comment. Go ahead, caller. Quickly, you're on the air.
Well, this is if the Minidoka School District or the Cassia County School District decides that the school board decides that we're going to go back to school, you're not going to try to stop us, are you?
No. You'll see my tomorrow. We're going to announce I'm going to be on the opposite. I was the one that wanted schools open last fall when they were closing all of them. You got the wrong guy if you think I'm the guy that wants to close schools.
Well, earlier this year on this same program, you said you weren't sure if we were going to open them because you were worried about elderly teachers. And I don't know, but I know the cases are up because testing's up. The death rate is going down and going down more. And there's absolutely no reason to have Boise, the city of Boise, in phase 3. And are you going to turn us loose, Governor? Are you going to be done here and let us be? Because I deal with a lot of very, big business people out in the valley here. It's clear across southern Idaho. And there's some that are very unhappy with you, and to the point where, you wouldn't like to know what they said. And so we just need you to turn us loose. Let us be responsible, Governor. We'll be responsible. We don't need you to tell us how to live our lives. I'm going to hang up. Bye.
Respond to the caller, please, Governor.
Okay. I don't know that was a question more than a statement. And I understand people's frustration about it, Zeb. This is, but right now, unless you are a big venue person, 100% of all businesses can be open. We were one of the first states at the advice of the White House to have a stage plan. We implemented the stage plan. We've opened everything up. It's open everywhere regionally. If we're worried about hospital capacity, and we did run out of hospital capacity in Blaine County and even in Twin Falls County for a brief period of time, that's what we're concerned about. We're concerned about somebody who has a heart attack that can't get into the hospital because the capacity is filled up. So, like I said, under my governance, not the health districts, and they have their own authority, 100% of all, or 99.5% of all businesses in Idaho that want to be open can be open.
Governor, final thought on this. We all know that the virus is a virus that's not going to be going away. It's going to lay dormant. It's going to rise up and have its ugly head again in everybody's business in the future. We have to learn to live with it until a vaccine is perfected. And I think we all need to realize that we can do all we can, but we can't have another shutdown economically like we had in the spring. That's not anticipated again, is it?
The nexus, the connection between people being safe, whether they be employees going to work or whether they be customers, patronizing those businesses, is directly tied. That economic activity is directly tied to how safe people feel. We need to continue to do all we can to manage it. Treatments are getting better. The vaccine development is progressing along, not as fast as any of us I want, but I think much faster. The White House is putting a lot of resources, and so is Congress, into that. We're going to get there, but we all need to take personal responsibility to do the right thing so that the spread doesn't get too great, because if it does get great, if I did nothing, if the health districts did nothing, the economy would throw the brakes on, because people would be, they'd be fearful for their parents, they'd be they'd be worried about their kids. So we all need to do a little bit of sacrifice now until we get over this to where we can be successful going forward. And I see no evidence of anything other than if we do the right thing, the economy will rebound until what time as they get a better treatment or a vaccine.
Again, I will reiterate with you, I wouldn't trade my Tony Lama boots for yours any day of the week.
All right. Thanks, Zeb.
God bless you, Governor. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Governor Brad Little on our program for this morning. And with that being said, we're going to send this over to Sean for our bottom of the hour, and we'll be back in about 3 minutes.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Oh, thank you much. Hey, by the way, we've got Doug Giles standing by, but I do have to get this good word on Sean for the Silver State Stampede. Sean, could we have the good word for... There we go.
The thunder of hooves, the thrill of an 8-second ride, and all the fun of a PRCA rodeo is at your fingertips this July 10, 11, and 12 when the Silver State Stampede makes its way to the Elko County Fairgrounds. This PRCA-sanctioned rodeo brings you the thrill of pro riders, mini bull riders, Old West bronc riders, mutton busting, and the always popular Ring of Fear. A family day Sunday evening, and tough enough to wear pink on Saturday. Gates open all 3 days at 4 p.m., and you can dance the night away on Friday and Saturday to the music of the Moonshine Outlaws. Family entertainment at its best with the 2020 Silver State Stampede. Silver State Stampede will be following all of the Nevada Governor's directives, Nevada United Roadmap to Recovery Plan, as well as the CDC guidelines. The safety of everyone is our top priority.
Thank you very much. And right now, we've had this gentleman on the program before, and he is excellent to listen to with his viewpoints. And he is the author of the new book, If Masculinity is Toxic, Call Jesus Radioactive. Good morning, Doug Giles. How are you?
Zed, how you doing, brother?
I'm great. Listen, I want to try to keep this as concentrated to the problem as possible for the next 20 minutes or so. The police cuts in America, Doug, I want you to refer to that first and foremost. I'm not getting a chance to vote. You're not getting a chance to vote. The people in Milwaukee, Minneapolis, etc. aren't getting a chance to vote as to whether their security should be cut back. Why is this being forced upon cities and cutting back on police?
Well, you will recognize that it's mostly 100% liberal cities.
Yep.
And not really happening in down here in Texas, where we still honor the police and we still recognize, they're very valuable, very important, and it's a tough job right now. But you're persona non grata if you carry a badge in a liberal city nowadays, and if you don't embrace communism, Zeb, you're a racist. If you're anti-communism right now, Zeb, you are a damnable racist.
Well, I am then. I am. And I'll proudly wear that badge because I absolutely am going to stand up and say it may be time for the protection of my family, my security, and my welfare and my property for me to carry a gun and be able to use it, because I am not allowing the mob and this chaotic culture to take over America. If it comes on my property, that's it.
Yeah, God help you if you try to burn my house down, or if you confront my wife or kids. Oh my God, brother! 2 to the chest, 2 to the head, and I got lots of magazines, and I've got lots of weapons. And this old redneck who came out of his mother's belly holding a .30-30 has been using them for many, many moons. And and it's That's where the conversation, I think it's too late for a lot of people, because I got some liberal friends in Miami where we used to live. They're now like, can you help me get a gun? It's like, sure, I'll help you. What's going to be difficult is not only finding a good gun that's out there, but then finding ammunition, because the ammunition is flying off the shelves, man. Zeb, I went over to cheaperthandirt.com and Midway USA, a couple of platforms that I buy a lot of my weapons stuff. And looking for some 12-gauge, double-aught buck, single-aught buck, triple, number 4 buck, and guess what? Reams of pages that says out of stock, no plans for restocking. I mean, it's just one after the other. That is something that I would say is unique. It is weird. It's never occurred, even in the crush of the gun market and the ammo suppliers during the Obama administration. Something's afoot, brother.
Well, Doug, let me ask you this, and you've been on my program many times, and we've always had a good conversation. I'm not trying to promote violence. I'm not trying to promote anything as far as shooting someone or taking another life. But my God, man, when you look at these situation of these rioters and mobsters going down the street, going through locked gates, and threatening a couple in St. Louis that's having lunch in their backyard, is this the society that we're going to live with?
If it's up to the liberals, yeah, this is what they want. And I seriously want to talk to your left-leaning audience, if there is anybody that leans to the left or really doesn't like Trump, and they're thinking of shopping Biden. Is this what the Democratic Party become, which is Marxist-Leninist? Period. The Black Lives Matter have been completely hijacked. They say they're Marxist. They say they want to gut the United States. They say that on their website that they want to destroy the traditional family unit. And they've hijacked the party. Those 5 freshman Congress women idiots are more powerful than Pelosi and Schumer. They're swinging massive amounts of influence. They've completely decimated what bit of sanity modern liberalism has. I don't see how any reasonable thinking Democrat, Zeb, could say, you know what, I want 4, maybe 8 years of this hardcore bullcrap to ransack our nation instead of the glide path that Trump has put us on. It's garbage.
Absolutely.
Like you said, people need to really learn how to defend themselves, because if they're going to tell cops to stand down, you know, the St. Louis cops were told to stand down on McCluskey.
Oh, my goodness.
So the McCluskeys have this beautiful palatial home built in 1909, and private street. You cannot even go through that wall without criminal felony trespass. And they did it with impunity. And St. Louis mayor said, "Oh, don't interrupt them. They're just peaceful protesters." I'm telling you, you do that stuff in my house, it's going to be bad news bears for you.
Absolutely. We have a caller with a question or a comment quickly. Doug, go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zed. This may be a little off the wall. I contacted one of our local fairgrounds about having a rally because our country is going to, as you know what I'm talking about. And it's just like, well, ho-hum, we won't have anything going on until maybe October, maybe November. There won't be any openings. I'll give you a call. What in the hell are our priorities?
You know, and I'm glad you brought that up. I'm going to mention that to Doug. Thank you, caller, for talking about that. Doug, there's been a lot of people here in my area that have said, you know what, we, the people that are really concerned about what's going on in this country with our lack of security, our cutbacks in police, everything that's going on with Black Lives Matter kind of playing down every other race, we need to get together and start our own movement. And it doesn't seem like we're getting any support. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, we got a big event this Saturday up here in the Texas Hill Country, and I'll be speaking at 6 o'clock, and then Lieutenant Colonel Alan West will be speaking at 7 o'clock, and we expect, you know, a few thousand people to rock up, and we won't be burning flags, Zeb. We won't be disparaging our Constitution, Bill of Rights, or our Declaration of Independence. We will be celebrating this thing called freedom and liberty. And there will be a lot, I'm talking about a lot of guns there. And I'm looking forward to it. I think you just got to, you know, like the caller said, it's like, hey, we want to have an event. And the city's like, no, you're not going to do that because we all could get a bad cold. You know, we all wear stupid masks and social distance. I tell them to blow it out their backside and just have the event. To hell with them.
Yeah.
You know, when do we start obeying all these punks, these little jack-booted thugs? They're nothing but our maid, and we can vote them out. We can ignore them. If it's not a law, then you can't arrest me. And someone's probably going to have to take one for the team. Somebody might go to jail, but you know what? It beats the crap out of just sitting in your chair eating nachos till you die. And I wouldn't obey any of these people, and I don't. I don't wear a mask everywhere I go. They can kiss my skinny backside. I'm not going to do it. I think it's bull crap. I think it's a lie. I think I had COVID, Zeb, and I hope I did, because I couldn't smoke cigars for 2 whole days. I was so sick. And but now I'm fine and kicking butt. And you know what? That's just what I call life.
I've got to have you comment.
I mean, all of a sudden it's like, oh, you know, so-and-so died of COVID. Oh, really? How old was she? 100. Well, I think she might have died of some other stuff also.
Absolutely.
You know, like being 100.
Absolutely. You know, Doug, I got to have you comment because this has just got me so uptight. My blood pressure's way above normal over the Black Lives Matter, their infiltration into our sports society with the demands to the NBA. They're going to have a logo on the basketball floor. Their demands about having a black national anthem played before the NFL games. This has gone past the point of return. I'm fed up with sports. I'm fed up with the LeBron Jameses. I'm fed up with the Roger Goodells of the NFL. I think they're all a bunch of milquetoast cowards.
Yeah, I love it when LeBron James, you know, lectures, you know, white college students about their white privilege as he sits in his $500,000 Lamborghini and lives in a 50,000 square foot home. It's crap, you know. People think it's crap. And if you get woke, you're going to go broke. I can't wait to see how dilapidated you throw the supposed COVID scandemic edicts on professional sports and social distancing and cut the amount of people that are allowed into the stadium, and then you put on top of this anti-white, anti-American, anti-Hispanic, anti-Asian. Like they talk about racism. They're the most ardent racists, the Black Lives Matter people on this planet. I mean, they make Malcolm X look lazy, when he's with the Nation of Islam and the rhetoric that he's spewing, because it's nothing like what Martin Luther King said. It has zero to do, with the sentiments that came out of the great Frederick Douglass. This is pure on, we hate white people, we hate America, and if you don't bow and kiss our ring, we're going to shake you down financially, or we're going to disrupt, your formerly pleasant life in this great American experiment in self-governance. And I think they're going to overstep their hands. I think the NFL stadiums are going to be more empty than Colin Kaepernick's head. And I think the same thing's going to happen to the NBA and any sport that bows their knee to this kind of stuff. They are completely telling, I would say half, if not three-quarters of patriotic Americans to go blank themselves. And we'll pay them back by turning them off and not showing up.
Absolutely. Doug, quickly, I want you to comment. You mentioned it earlier, but I want you to elaborate on it a little bit. The likes of Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, Presley, and others of the so-called squad, they've come out like Biden did when he said, if I'm elected president, I will transform America. That seems to be a key word right now, transform. I know Omar used that yesterday in a speech to a news conference. Transformation of America. What in the world are they talking about?
Yeah, getting rid of your rights. That's first and foremost. They're definitely not pro free speech. Like if you say something untoward again towards their creed, their dogma, their Marxism, then you should be tossed off social media platforms like we were. I had 2 million followers, and we were so effective. We had a reach of 10 to 20 million people per week. And we got the plug pulled on us because we were so funny, so effective, so right on, and so bold. And they can't stand that. So you can expect your rights to dwindle like a pack of smokes at an AA meeting. Second Amendment rights will be gone after as well. There'll be, redistricting. They'll take hold of the census. They'll toss this nation, nearly permanently center left. They're going to they're going to come in and gut. And if you listen to them, they will tell you that. They want to get rid of the cops. When they cut funding in New York and in Los Angeles, and they had the draconian edicts in Seattle and in other places, that in L.A. crime rose 250%. Murders were, I think, it quadrupled. New York crime's up 500%. And these are the wizards that want to run the damn country, and they can't even run their flippin' city, bro.
Let me ask you a final thought here before I let you go, Doug, and it's basically a question of speculation and opinion on your part right now. We're only a couple of months and days away from the election coming up in November, and the polls are showing Trump way down behind Biden. Can Trump win with this evil Democratic machine that's turning out all this hate?
Yeah, I think they're their own worst enemy. I think they're going to push people. They might not be vocal about it because you don't want to be hated nowadays, because the left will if you say you're pro-Trump. I think a lot of sane, rational people are going to vote for him, and or they won't vote for Biden because they have been hijacked. Again, listener, can you look at the Democratic Party and their antics and their anti-American rhetoric and say, you want 4, maybe 8 years of that garbage? I couldn't do it, man. And I understand not wanting to be a Republican, but I could not vote for that garbage because it has nothing to do with the JFK. It has nothing to do with what Clinton would do. I mean, this thing has been hijacked by morons that are Marxist-Leninists.
Absolutely.
Or anybody who's serious to get into the weeds of the worldview of Ilhan Omar, occasional Cortex, as I call her, and all these other people that are hijacking currently the Democratic Party because it's despotic and it's Marxist-Leninist.
Absolutely. Real quick, the book, If Masculinity is Toxic, Call Jesus Radioactive. How's it going, and where can people get a copy of your book?
Well, it hit number one about a month ago. We put it in gender studies on Amazon, and and we rang the number one bell in new releases. And so Amazon's the easiest. If Masculinity is Toxic, Call Jesus Radioactive. It's got a cheeky title, Zeb, but it's a serious book.
Absolutely.
And, you'll never see Jesus the same way. He wasn't a bearded woman walking around saying nice things. He was a 30-year-old rebel who upset bad politicians and bad priests.
Absolutely. Doug, you're always a pleasure to talk to. Thank you very much for taking the time to come back on my show, and know you'll be asked to come back soon. Thank you so much.
Right on. Stay rowdy, Zeb.
All right. Thank you. Doug Giles, I appreciate his straightforward, off-the-cuff remarks. Thank you very much. We need more of that. We also need the weather forecast. But before I give you the weather, I want to remind you about a great place to go eat, and that's Edith's Cafe at 144 East Highway 81 in Burley, right across from the golf course. Oh, boy, I get call after call after call of people that say, you know what, we took your advice and stopped over to Edith's Cafe. It is really good. Oh, the menu choices are phenomenal. And a couple of days ago, Deanne called them and they said, hey, remind everybody about that barbecued brisket sandwich. Absolutely mouth-watering delicious. You better believe it. You be sure and stop over to Edith's Cafe at 144 East Highway 81 in Burley. And they also do catering. They're open Tuesday through Thursday, 11 to 8, and Fridays and Saturdays, 11 to 9. Don't forget, great eating at Edith's Cafe. Time for the weather, and the weather brought to you this hour by our friends at Scarro's Meats. My goodness, Don Scarrow and the crew. I'm running a little bit late, as usual, but they sponsor the weather this hour, and they're located at 331 North Road, Jerome. Number to call, 324-7657, and they've got all the different flavors of bacon and all the bratwurst. Oh, for your outdoor barbecues, fantastic. All the pork chops and the hams and the tri-tips, the list goes on and on at Scarro's Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. I'll have more right after Gina and the weather. Hello, Gina.
In the valley as we hit midweek, and we're expecting sunny skies for today. A little bit of a breeze out of the west at about 10 miles an hour. We are expecting a high of 80. Tonight, nice and clear with a low of 52. Winds out of the west-northwest at about 10 miles an hour. For Thursday, sunny skies, high of 88. Mostly clear for Thursday night with a low of 56. And by Friday, sunny skies, about 87, 92 expected for Saturday. That's what's your weather for. It's Zeb Rain.
Thank you. And Scarro's Meats brings us the weather. And don't forget, you can check out all the delicious meats at scarrowsmeats.com on their website. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time at Scarrow's Meats. Oh my, we got a big day tomorrow on Thursday. We've got a lot of big names coming on the program. We've got Curtis Ellis coming on the program, and we've got interviews with some of our local sponsors and advertisers. Going to be a great day. Cache County School Days, all of that tomorrow on Thursday. Want to remind you about your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. I make no bones about it. They are the best at what they do, and they really care about service to you and your vehicle. Now, not only all the tires, not only all the different tread designs for your cars, pickups, SUVs, whatever the case might be, horse trailers, boat trailers. I know you're traveling. I know you're enjoying summer. You should. You deserve it. And you need to make sure you've got safe tires. They've got all the tires you need right there at the 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. And, of course, they've got a free pre-trip safety check. Earlier this morning, we had Trent on the air talking about that. Be sure and go in and ask about that. Check out the brake service, the front end alignments, the shocks and the struts, and the batteries. But above all, the great service to you. With James in Buell, Dan on Pole Line in Twin Falls, Lane in Rupert, Mike and Jerome, Dave on Blue Lakes in Twin Falls, the Twist family over in Paul, nice people, and Trent, my old buddy at Overland in Burley. They are the 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Wow. We've had a lot of things going on the program this morning, and we've got a lot of things going on tomorrow. As I said, I got to take a look at the list here. We've got Sharon is going to be back on the program for a few minutes tomorrow morning, about 9:17. And then we're going to have a guest on with the Oakley Pioneer Days, and they're going to be talking about all the activity. I chuckle because I know we're going to spend some time talking about the bump and rub car race. Cassia County School Days, our business salute, and then last but not least, Curtis Ellis is going to be on the phone from back in Washington, D.C. All of that tomorrow on Zeb at the Ranch. Thank you for tuning in. You're a great audience. We always end the program by saying the way things were are the way things ought to be. And the 4 words that mean the most to me, in God we trust. Take care. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 8:06.